Good morning and welcome to another great edition of Money Truth Moments with our very own Money Truth expert and whisperer, Judy Copenbarger. How are you?
I'm great. Hey, y'all. I am coming in from Texas this morning. We're
Oh,
traveling
wow.
and we got our summer on. So we're just having a great time. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm a little jealous you're in Texas and we're over here, but it's all good, right?
Well, hearing that from someone who is in, where were you last week?
That's true. I take that back. I digress. I was in Catalina,
Vacation,
which is
Venice
great too.
Beach. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Well, you look rested and refreshed as well. Good to see you.
Yes, same here, and same with you, right? It just feels like it's just a great Tuesday as always, and feel recharged, ready to go. And we're talking about summer, folks. And if you're just joining us, welcome to the show. Please make sure you share the stream. Also, follow Judy at judycopenbarger.today. Today, we're going to be talking about sun, snacks, and savings, affordable family fun ideas. So I can't wait to get started. So, what do you say we jump right in?
Well, I wish I was as quick as you as with the alliteration. That sounded amazing. Can you say that 3 times fast?
See, I knew you were going to ask me that. No, I can't. That was a one-time shot deal for sure.
Well
Um,
done.
Thank you. Thank you. So let's start off by the obvious questions. Why do many families feel that pressure to overspend during the summer?
Yeah, because it's just fun. I think it just
True.
because the habit is gone, the routine is gone. Usually month to month when the kids are in school, when we're just doing our regular routine, you know what the expenses are, and there's not a lot of extraordinary things normally, unless there's a lot of birthdays all at once or something. But in the summer, all bets are off, right? Our routine is gone. We've got all new experiences, maybe new environment, new things that we want to do, creating memories and all of that, especially with when you have kids at home. You just want to go. And so without that routine, without that normal spending plan, the planning's out the window and the budget goes with it.
That's true. And so we don't really think about, when it comes to summer times, you're always on the go, go, go. Kids stop school, then you're got to deal with the summer. What are you going to find them to do? Keep them out of trouble. But how can families shift from that high cost like outings to intentional, meaningful fun? Because I think that's really what it's all about, right? That meaningful experience.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think if you just set the intent, if you just decide what is the desired outcome from this week or this summer or this vacation or whatever, the outcome is, whatever you want it to be. And it doesn't have to have a big price tag with it. So maybe it's connection that you want, just having that time, with the kids without the disruption of the daily activities. Maybe creating memories, doing something really special, returning to a place maybe where you took a photo as a kid with your parents, and now you bring your kids there to share those memories at that baseball park or at that beach or by that palm tree, whatever it is. Maybe it's about purposefulness, spending your summer doing something to benefit the community, going outside of yourself and helping other people. It might be about gaining skills. Maybe it's learning some new dance moves. It's learning some new skills for your baseball team, learning to swim or learning to surf or learning to ski, depending on where you are in the world, right? Making a difference in the community, doing something to help a team or help, the kids at the library or find some, homeless people to, take hot dogs, do whatever it is. It's the intention that you can set, especially with the family, for the summer or for the vacation or for the week or whatever period of time, to say, here's what we're going to do. Here's at the other end of this week or this month, what we want to have gained as a family, as a parent, and then set the intention and then go do it. It doesn't have to be costly.
Those are great points, and I see folks are starting to tune in and walk in. Make sure, folks, that you watch the beginning of the show. We're continuing the summer series, how to family finance. So make sure you share out the stream. Please follow Judy at judycopenbarger.today. And we've got some great questions. I know that a lot of folks get really nervous during the summertime, and you guys watching, make sure you take notes as well too. But what's the connection between financial peace and family time?
Huh. What's the connection between financial peace and family time? Like quality family time? I
Absolutely.
I think when you're in that environment where there's no worry about money, there's no stress about money, there's no guilt around money, it's overspending or blowing the budget or putting debt on credit card that you wish you hadn't. I think financial peace and family time can be coordinated when you just have a little planning. And again, it doesn't have to have the price tag. I mean, we think, oh, we want to take the Disney cruise and we want to go to all the theme parks that are hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of dollars daily for some of those. Those are nice to do. And if you can do that, that's great. But it doesn't have to be that to get the outcome, like squeezing the juice out of what you really want to get out of that experience. Creating memories and doing something fun. I think sometimes the simplest things, and maybe we can get into some of the ideas, the simplest things that you do at home are the ones that have the coolest memories. And looking back, we raised 5 kids, and so in their 30s now, but when they think back at the funnest things that we ever did, the coolest trips or the staycations that we did, because that's what we could afford to do, some of their fondest memories and some of the neatest things that we ever did came out of the creativity that we had to. We had no option. We couldn't spend a bunch of money. So some of those things are the best memories. We look back and laugh and go, that was a blast. We should do that again. So it doesn't have to cost a lot. You just got to be a little creative. Ask the kids, right? So there's so many things that you can do. But
And you kind of touched a little bit on my next question, and the key thing that stood out for me on your last answering that was the price tag, right? So, what are some of the best free? I mean, think back too with your kids. What are some of the best free and low cost activities family can enjoy this summer that sometimes we just take for granted or overlook, right?
Oh, use the parks. Local parks are great. There's so many different creative, wonderful parks locally. Go a town over if you're used to the ones, in your town. Go over a town. But don't forget the regional parks, the state parks, the national parks. Sometimes we've got these amazing treasures in our backyard within a half hour from where we live, and we just don't take advantage of them. And a lot of them are cheap or free. And even the ones that might have a price tag, $5 to get in per car, whatever it is, they often will have a day or an event that's free to get in. And so you can go online or call them and say, hey, do you have a free or a cheap day where we can come and not have to break the bank to get in? And look for the twilight discounts. Almost every activity you do will have, if you come later in the day, golfers know this, right? If you golf later in the day, it's less money than if you tee off first thing in the morning. But a lot of places do that. Museums do that. National parks do. A lot of places do that. Even amusement parks. They'll have a day, library events, things like that. They'll have a day that is either free so people can enjoy it. It might be one day per month. You got to plan ahead. But they'll also have discount days where it's half price, or you can say, hey, I've got 4 kids. Is there a deal if I'm bringing a 6-pack of us, right? And so they will do that. You just sometimes have to do a little research and ask.
And that's a great point. The other thing too that we don't really consider and we should be considering is talking about, we're talking about family fun and finances, but how can parents use the summertime or summer fun as a way to teach our kids about money and value?
Well, for most adults later in life, when they struggle, from what I hear, people that never had a handle on their budget or spending, it's always like they're out of money before a month. Those are the people that never got to practice early in life working within their means, spending within their means. So let's help our kids practice. If that's a skill they have, as soon as they're out there on their own, they'll always have that skill. And so let's say, Johnny, you're 10 years old, you've got $50 for us to do a really cool outing. What will you do with that? Well, they got to get online. They got to see, well, if we need tickets for a place, if it's a little water park or if it's some activity downtown or a museum or something, how much does it cost? How many tickets do we need? Is there a better deal? Is there a package deal? Can we do it later in the day? Whatever. Let Johnny do the research for what it is. How much is going to be on food? How much is going to be on transportation, getting there and back? How much is going to be on the entry fee or cost? And let Johnny do that, right? And it might be a bigger budget or a bigger event, but just say, hey, we got $50. What can we do? And it might be, Mom, I just want to go feed the ducks. Let's just go buy some cheap bread and go feed the ducks and have hot dogs, right? So it doesn't have to be costly, but empower your kids to have a hand in it, in the planning, and understand what the expenses are. Well, yeah, we'd like to go to Disneyland for, 6 of us, but on $50, we really couldn't do that today. and here's why, right? And go through all that. So let your kids have the option to learn about how to spend money well. When we grow up, it's not that adults say, well, I don't have enough to save. I would save it if I have it. It's the spending where we need the practice, where we need the management and the discipline. So let's help our kids learn that. And summer is a great time to do it.
Awesome, folks. If you're just joining us, welcome. Make sure that you please watch the beginning of the show. Watch last week's episode too, because we're doing a very special summer series on family finance. And today we're focusing on Sun snacks and savings, the affordable family fun ideas and ways to just be creative without breaking the bank. So we've been talking about different ways to look at vacations that don't break the bank, staycations, different things like that. When we talk about when we look at family finances, what's a great way to create a weekly fund? And I'm not going to use the B word, folks. If you know what the B word is in the show, we don't use budget. We say spending plan. So make sure you write that down. It's a spending plan without, bottom line, without really feeling stress.
Well, it's just that. And it doesn't matter if it's on the back of an envelope, if it's on a yellow pad, if it's on a spreadsheet, if it's on a whiteboard, if you write on the mirror in the bathroom, it doesn't matter as long as it's written. Something about from your brain to your hand to getting it written makes it like happen. I don't know what it is. All the business gurus will tell you this. It's got to be written. It's actually a biblical principle too. If you think about it, write it down. And so write down what the plan is. Here's the fun we want to have as an outcome. Here's how much we want to spend and what are our options? What can we do within that spending plan? I think that will make a big difference. But to me, it doesn't matter how you write it down or where you write it down, just that it's an agreement that is written that you can go back and refer to and then execute. It's pretty simple, really.
Yeah, the other thing I think that we don't really talk about much is, families. How can families use the online community calendars, for example, or local events to save big, right? We never think of that. You mentioned parks. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Go to the park, go outside. Fresh air and sunshine does you so good. And you just mentioned the community stuff. Almost every city, and if you're fortunate enough to live in a city or a good sized town, they've got the summer activities. They've got swim lessons for the little kids, and they've got yoga class, and they've got taekwondo, and they've got, budgeting classes. They have crafts classes. When our kids were little, we're in Orange, Anaheim area in Southern California. So they have all kinds of, big magazine of things to do all summer long. I remember going to a table setting class with our kids, like to learn etiquette at the table and which fork to use and, how many glasses and things like that. And I thought that was the coolest class. It was probably $10, but it was a good half a day and they learned skills that they can carry with them. So communities have really cool stuff, but it doesn't even have to be that. It could be a scavenger hunt that you create at home. Build a pillow fort, go outside and build a real fort. If you have the space to do that, go out in the middle of the night and see what kind of critters are out there. Do a flashlight hike. I mean, there's so many things that you can do. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money, but, have an upside down day. Declare everything that we do today is going to be done upside down. Eat underneath the dining room table instead of on top of it, right? So it's okay to kind of explore and embrace your inner child and do crazy stuff. That's the stuff the kids remember. Like, I had a fun mom, we just did crazy stuff at our house, put your clothes on and everybody jump in the bathtub at once, jacuzzi party, right? So just all kinds of things that you can do, and really fun memories. And it's like, we don't really do it, on a regular Tuesday during school time, but this is summer, all bets are off. Jump on the beds, whatever it is, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
And that's something it's so true. A lot of folks don't take advantage or don't know about city programs. We were fortunate to send our son to even churches have programs, right? Vacation Bible School. They make it very interesting. Other schools have this after school summer program where they take him to different trips. I know that he's probably been to more places during the summertime than anything else. He learns, he gets to go to the zoo, whatever they're taking kids. But there is definitely quite a bit of options for you guys, especially in the cities, and a lot of them too. I mean, if you're in a jam and need affordable stuff, there's a lot of grants and stuff that the city will provide for families that don't have the means to help out. You just got to ask, and you have to do your homework to look into it for sure.
Yeah, cities are great. Universities, churches, as you mentioned, almost all of them have things for the kiddos in the summer. I remember our kids going to sports camps in the summer, and one of them was so cool. It was at one of the universities, and two of our kids were probably around third, fourth, fifth grade, and they went a couple years in a row. And they would do like 5 or 6 sports every day, like every hour they changed. They'd learn tennis, they learned pickleball. That's coming on, but they'd have swimming every day, and then they would have maybe softball or whatever. But every day they did all different things. Basketball, they go in and cool off. But sports camp was great at the university. I just now had that flashback. That was a great time.
Right. Yeah. And it's those little things we don't think about. And it's like, oh, it's just right here, right in my back door, you know?
Yep.
Let me ask you, because I know we're getting close to the tail end of the show, but what's one easy, fun, and free thing that families can do this week together? Like if you think about this, and actually let me go back a moment, because there's also those, you talked about Disneyland, right? And I just recently found out what tickets go for Disneyland, which like blew my
Oh my
mind. Like
goodness.
how are families able to even afford that, right? It's just insane.
Yeah.
But in talking about this week as we're starting it out, what's one easy, fun, and maybe free thing families can do together this week that you
Oh,
want to suggest?
go outside. If you live where it's hot, and a lot of places this time of year in our country are hot, go outside and do something with water. Turn on the sprinklers. Get a tarp or some garbage bags and make water slides. Remember the slip and slide when
Oh
we were
yeah, yeah.
get a little soap on there and get that hose out and make your own water slide. Have a water balloon fight. Turn on the sprinkler, get some of those little pools and make your own little. If you don't have a pool, make your own little blow up pool, right? So
Yeah.
many things. Get out some bubbles, have a bubble contest. Who can get the bubble to go closest to the tip of the tree? Whose bubbles can go the highest? Blow bubbles. Get wet. Go outside. There's so many things you can do that don't take a lot of money. Just have fun, be creative, see what the kids want to do. It'll be great.
Great. And also, folks, I just mentioned the tail end of our show, so you know what time it is, right? It's our summer challenge. All right, what do you got for us?
Here's your challenge.
Here's your challenge.
If you have young people in your life, or borrow some neighbors, kids, grandkids, whatever, help them plan one outing financially. Help them do that. So, okay, we're going to do an outing. You're in charge of it. You got $50. Go. What's it going to be? And help them do the planning and think about not just how much fun we're going to have or how far we get to go, but the money part. And so you can help your kids learn about money while you're creating these wonderful activities. Give them a head start on the spending. That's your challenge.
All right, folks, you heard the challenge. If you have any other topics that you would like Judy to address, please let us know. Send us a message. And if you're not following Judy, please do so at judycopenbarger.today. As always, another great show, another great wisdom shared with everybody. Any last parting words?
Make it a great week. Enjoy the outdoors.
All right. Remember, folks, we're here Tuesday mornings at 8 a.m. with the replays on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Until next week, take care. Be safe.
Bye-bye.